Hey yo guys, just here to make a video on two subjects. One, I'm gonna once again plug the Stickam show, which is tonight. Of course, it'll be a Raw review as well as an ECW review. Talk about some of the news of the week. As well, I'm gonna, as always, take questions. I'm gonna for sure do the Skype thing tonight. I have created a Skype account just for this show. So, if you're interested and, you would like to tune in and, hear my thoughts on some other stuff and, to voice your opinion on some of the topics going on, have the Skype account, you can be in the chat room, whatever, and, I'll be there from 8 to, whenever, however long, there's been a lot of the news going around this week, it's going to be basically, me talking, about pro wrestling and boxing. Yeah, I just hope you tune in. Let's try and get, a lot of people in the room. I had a fair bit out for the first try, but, it was the first try, but hopefully I get a good amount of people, and, if you plan on joining, put it in the leave a comment in the comment section if you plan on coming up to be a part of this. It'd be, much appreciated. It starts at 8 o'clock Eastern time, so please, hopefully you will be there. Anyways, the real point of this video is, wanted to make the little video here on not necessarily the pay-per-view coming up this weekend. For those of you who don't know, Roy Jones Jr. is going to be presenting the first, pay-per-view of a hybrid pay-per-view of both boxing and mixed martial arts. Now, to me, this just screams, ugh. Not only just, the card doesn't really look good. I mean, probably the live gate will do well because Roy Jones, the card's taking place, in Pensacola, Florida. Roy Jones Jr. is from there. I mean, that issue should be fine. But for people to pay money to see this pay-per-view, when at least the only boxing bout that is announced that I am aware of at this moment is Roy Jones Jr. versus Omar Shika. This is not really a fight you want to put money towards. Don't mind me saying. I mean, this is a free TV fight, a fight that, Jones clearly wants to, get back and just decimate someone ever since, he lost to Joe Calzaghe. Why this is not a pay-per-view worthy fight, but the MMA portion is also not as, interesting. It was interesting to an extent, with Bobby Lashley, who's, this hot prospect, coming from the WWE, he had a strong wrestling background before he went into the professional wrestling business. But, he was supposed to take on, one of the MMA legends in Ken Shamrock. But Ken Shamrock, he failed a steroid test from the California State Athletic Commission on, the show that he promoted, the War God show, when he took on Ross Clifton, and which was just definitely the worst MMA show of the year, a definite contention for worst show of the year. And as well, the other, which really doesn't scream that much to you, to MMA fans, would be the Jeff Monson versus Roy Big Country Nelson fight. Now, to me, I don't understand why you would want to put money towards this, considering most of the card is going to be brought up of MMA fights. The boxing fans aren't going to want to watch this. To me, there's been debate going on for a while between MMA and boxing. You can't really compare the two. The two sports are completely different. That would be like trying to compare ice hockey and basketball. You can't compare them. They're completely different. There's some similarities like ice hockey and basketball. They take place around the same period of time. They have teams in the same state. But, the only thing that I guess the business models to these are kind of the same. But when the actual sport is taking place, they're not the same. MMA is a sport that, has been basically built around not being a stand-up type of a fight. Incorporates, all these martial arts, but one of its main keys and intrigues is the ground fighting, the jiu-jitsu art, which I don't think a boxing fan is going to be, yay, they took it to the ground. They have no fucking clue what happened. If you remember watching UFC 1, Ken Shamrock and, what's his name now? Oh my god. I forget his opponent at the moment. I'm pissed about this. Anyways, when Ken Shamrock took this guy to the ground, put him in, an ankle lock or, a knee bar, the place was booing. He broke his leg, but they just had no clue what happened. That is what's going to be there. The boxing fans have no interest in this. And that, to me, I guess, is one of the they put up the Monson versus Big Country Nelson fight is those guys are, just big sluggers and stuff. But that doesn't really, leave the impression to boxing fans on why they should watch MMA. And, well, we're going to stick to our sport. It's, stand-up. The MMA fans are just going to be, well, this goes forever. These guys aren't going to touch each other. Whatever. And plus, this fight between Shika and Jones is just like... It's just going to probably be Jones decimated in the first 4 rounds. I will probably guarantee that. I'm sorry to cut Sheik off, but really, that's just my thoughts. I think the boxing fans are more or less going to likely watch the Klitschko fight that's going to take place on ESPN, which is for free, by the way. It is a free fight. They're not going to pay $29.99 to see a crossbreed show. There's two different sports. The boxing fans are not a big fan of the whole game. And the MMA fans don't need to watch boxing. They don't like how some of their pay-per-views are run. Especially I remember with the Pacquiao-De La Hoya fight because, that was just such a poor undercard put together that, you had to wait at least an hour before the main event, which that is crap if you don't mind me saying. I understand why the HBO did it, but that is crap. You need to have your boom, boom, boom. I'm not paying, $50 to hear Jim Lampley and Daniel Lewis talk for, an hour about, the storylines going into this fight. That is what you do at, like, the first 30 minutes going into the pay-per-view. You can do that then, but then why are you talking? I mean, there's no need for that. That's just crap, but the thing that I think is interesting is how the big boxing figureheads are starting to realize that this sport is taking place, and now they're starting to get into it, which, kind of... When you got someone like Don King with his track record in, controversy and trying to screw people over, I don't think we need him in MMA. I mean, MMA is doing pretty fine. They're the most successful sport to me going today, if you don't mind me saying. And, having people like that in there, I mean, the boxing fans are, I guess, starting to get pissed off because, the likes of Jones Jr. and Oscar De La Hoya, trying to branch out over to, help MMA, which, a sport that, I think within, the next 5 years could be, it's already bigger than boxing, but it could, completely surpass it. It's already starting to surpass it, in pay-per-view numbers. Yeah, Pacquiao and De La Hoya did it, but that's because you had, a massively marketable superstar and, a strong prospect going up on there. I mean, when you look at what you had with Lesnar and Couture, I mean, if that fight had taken, in the next 5 years, I think it would have done super bigger numbers than that, and probably another extra, at least 50,000 people buying it. 500,000 people buying it, I should say. So I guess really what I wanted to say, just a quick little video, voicing that I don't know how well this pay-per-view is going to do. It's just 2 different spectrums, and I don't think the MMA fans really want to see the boxing portion. I don't even think they want to see the MMA fights on there. I don't think the boxing want to see the MMA in the ground. They are not used to it. They don't want to pay money to see something they're not used to. So that's it for me. I am out. Peace.